This podcast, we named it Talk 'em in the Building. So I'm gonna go to you first, Greg. I want to get a good, solid definition of what's a wrestling promo.
Man, so what's a wrestling promo? So I grew up, in the 80s. I would say that's when I kind of got hooked. So when I think about a wrestling promo, they always talked about talking them into the building. It's something that hypes a match, connects with you emotionally. It's kind of that thing that really tells the story. I mean, the match is secondary, to be quite honest.
Mm,
It's the promo that brings it in. It's the promo that tells the story. It's the promo that hooks you and brings you in. Whether you hate them, you love them, it's the tone, it's the delivery. It kind of makes you identify with that person. And I know we're going to dig deep into that over these next several months and weeks and
definitely.
years. But to me, that's what a promo does. I mean, you call it a promo because you promote something, right?
Exactly.
And back in the day, the promo is they made their money off of the house. And how do you get them into the house? How do you get them into here in Atlanta? How did you get them into the Omni? How
Yep.
did you talk them in on Sunday night? And it was Dusty, it was Ole, it was Flair, it was Wyndham, it was the Rock and Roll Express, it was the Freebirds, and they talked you into that building.
That's a great definition, man. Adelie, you got anything to add to that? I
Oh
think
man,
that's.
I mean, I'll piggyback on it. So you
Mm-hmm.
got me thinking about venues. Out here we got the Grand Olympic, and which was known for boxing, but wrestling, lucha, that was huge. And I mean, you have the
Right.
preeminent. You had Gorgeous George, and my dad talked about going to boxing shows and kind of being hooked into the wrestling part of it because of promos, because you had personalities who
Mm,
the audience hated. But guess what? Those
Mm-hmm.
were paying folks, right? That's who filled the audience because you really want to see this guy get his butt kicked. And for me, what makes that promo is that it's that individuality, it's that personality where you start blurring the line to see, I think that's more of a modern take, but you blur
Mm-hmm.
the lines as like, who is this person really and what's motivating them? And that's how it's influencing their character, so to speak. And, you know, people speak about that blurred line in terms of is that behind the scenes things, or is that something that's really happening on the stage? And I think the best promos are the ones that make you question everything about the
mm,
wrestling in itself. And I like to just sit back and be the fan, right? Because ultimately that's all we are, right? We're fans, and
Amen.
we're here to get into the building. And what's the beauty of it is, going back, over 3 decades now, is what keeps me going really are promos. The wrestling
Mm.
has evolved and it will continue to evolve, but give someone a live mic in front of a crowd, and you can't fake that, right?
mm.
You
Amen.
you have to be on it, and you have to tug at people's heartstrings, so to speak.
Definitely. Definitely. That's a great addition to that definition. What you said earlier, Greg, which was you're telling the story before the story is even actually presented, before two performer or two wrestlers are even locking up. We either already know who we want to cheer, who we want to boo, and
Hmm.
we definitely know what result we want to see. And the promo drives all of that. So that's part of the reason why we made this podcast. As wrestling is evolving into something even more athletic and awe inspiring, the promo was always so important to us growing up. And I don't think it nearly gets the love and respect that it truly deserves. Of course, you got some current wrestlers that are great with their promo, but overall, there's been a slight shift. And on this podcast, we're gonna refocus that shift. We're gonna hype the hype man. We're gonna talk about the talkers, and of course, we gotta pontificate about the promo or pontificate on the promo. And that's the reason why we made this podcast. So, listeners, if this is your first time checking us out, we're first and foremost, thank you. We're very thankful. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to Suplex Dinner Club. We're a growing brand, growing family, and we definitely want you to be a part of it.